Okay, all I have to say is I love each bangle and each feather from the man who only wears black. Only black. All I understand. But what's underneath it, right? Thank you, Gregory. That was truly, truly amazing. Thank you, JD. As I sat contemplating, how do I even begin to talk this weekend? To conceptualize and to frame what this day and what this weekend means to so many of us. It was overwhelming. And I remembered this. When I was in school, went to school in Kansas City, Missouri to become a minister, right? On a farm. 1,400 acres of nothing. A couple of really pretty buildings. And a friend of mine from school asked me to come to his church. He was a licensed unity teacher, and he was the spiritual leader of a small church in Quincy, Illinois. So to get to Quincy, Illinois, you drive completely across Missouri, where the only thing on the highways are McDonald's. Not a Starbucks on the route. Nowhere. I get to Quincy, Illinois, no Starbucks. Right, so this city kid's like, oh, okay. And I'm in Quincy, Illinois, in this small church, and it's Sunday. Okay, we good? It's Sunday morning, and I'm sitting up front with the musicians, and we're getting ready for service. It's about 20 people on Sunday. And from the back of the sanctuary, I see this 6-foot tall transsexual woman walk in Quincy, Illinois. I sat there going, huh? I serve churches in San Francisco and New York City. And I don't see this in our Sunday services. And I had to notice, got to notice, that I was a little taken aback. And I was like, oh, what's she doing here in Quincy, Illinois? And my own prejudice, my own uncomfortability was right there. Right there for me to see. So I took a moment and I took a deep breath and went through the service. At the end of the service, I went up and introduced myself, and she introduced me to her wife in Quincy, Illinois. This is 5 years ago. And she said, yes, this is my wife, and we were married for 25 years before I transitioned. And we stayed married. And I was blown out of my little box.
Quincy, Illinois.
In Quincy, Illinois. And so I ask us today, as we celebrate Pride, to take a moment and realize how many people in this country just got blown out of their box this weekend. And how we can take a moment to open our hearts to them, to open our compassion to them, and understand that they are fighting and struggling to understand the incredibly changing world that we all inhabit. Sometimes it feels like it's going at the speed of sound, right? When I sat listening recently I listened to the whole oral arguments of the Supreme Court, right? Okay, truth be told, I have been a little, a lot obsessed on watching every argument. I have been obsessed about reading every article that came down the line. I have been watching polls for years now, because this has been so personal to me. The fight for marriage equality, the fight to stand up and say, as Gregory just sang for us, here I am. Why doesn't my love matter? And so I have watched relentlessly as the country slowly shifted, as unity slowly shifted. When I applied to ministerial school, a well-meaning minister told me not to write my husband in my application, in the essays in my application. She said, because there are a lot of small-town Quincy, Illinois ministers who will be reading this, and you don't want to trigger them. Well-meaning, but I looked at her and said, well, if Unity won't accept me as who I am, then it's not my church. And I wrote, because I am married. We had to go to Canada to get married. Woohoo! We can hear now, again. That I wouldn't want to be here. So I listened to the oral arguments that just happened back in April. And the justices went on and on and on about how marriage has been this way for millennia. Marriage has always been one man and one woman. Just read it in the Bible, and I wonder what Bible they are reading. What Bible, literally, seriously, truly, are they reading? Because Adam and Eve were not married. Oh! Yes, yes. Leviticus talks about you shall not lie with a man like you do with a woman, but it just tells us that they were doing it 500 years before. Okay? They don't make rules about something that's not happening. True? Okay? And David was married to so many women and slept with Bathsheba, someone else's wife, at the same time. Solomon had 1,000 plus concubines. And women were considered property. Even if we only look at this country in this time, it was not possible to rape your wife. It was considered perfectly legal to do whatever you wanted to do with your wife in the 20th century in America. We shudder at that idea right here and right now. We think it barbarian. We think it cruel and unusual. And yet, we realized that mistake. And as a country, as a people, as a community, we all stood up and said, yes, there is something bigger and higher that we all aspire to, that all people are created equal. I mean, this comes from the same idea that women couldn't vote, that blacks were somehow less than a whole person. All of these things were biblically or constitutionally justified at some point. This idea that any book, any written document, be it the Constitution, be it the Bible, be it some prayer hymnal, be it some document that Charles Fillmore wrote 100 years ago, is cast in stone, is absurd. We are all evolving towards our true potential. What Unity might call the Christ within us, what we all are is that divine essence. That we are all made completely whole, completely fulfilled, completely divine. That when we stand and say yes to that, when we honor the person across from us, there is nothing that we need worry about. There is no personality that we need to concern ourselves with. Yes, I like show tunes. You might like rock. You might like jazz. I know you like jazz. Right? You might like to sleep with men or women or both. You might have some aspect of your being that makes me uncomfortable. Oh well. So what? As the lyrics of the song say. What's most important is that we embody who we truly are. That divine gift to life itself. And when we let go of what someone else is supposed to do or be or say or look like, then we can finally be present to them. You know, I realized as a woman walked into the back of the church, and I felt my reaction, that it was my unhealed stuff. It was where I was still not comfortable in my own skin to be completely and unabashedly who I am. I am Ken. I am married to a man that I adore. I like wearing jeans. My L&O committee gave me lots of crap about it too. But it's who I am. I like unity. As I've shared with you on many occasions, this way of being, this philosophy and theology has opened up a possibility of expression for me that I never completely understood until I stood here one day and said, I am that I am. I am that I am. It's from the Bible. It's from Genesis. Exodus, excuse me. It's from Exodus. And Moses stands before the burning bush, and he hears when he asks the question, who shall I say sent me? I am that I am has sent me. And as I shared with you last year, that story of Moses, the story of Moses in the burning bush, is the story that we all have to go through. It's the story that you are called to do, to stand up and go before the Pharaoh and say, let me go. Let me go. Now, the Pharaoh may be your parents, even if they're no longer here on the planet. The Pharaoh may be your boss. The Pharaoh may be the Supreme Court. All those people stood up and said, I am what I am. This is me. And until I can have my full expression, show you exactly every color of my life, that I am incomplete and my divinity isn't actually shown. One of the most amazing things to me about the rainbow flag, right, is that it's based on a rainbow. It's based on the idea of a spectrum, that one light pours in and it is divided into its multiple colors. You may be purple, you may be pink, you may be green or yellow, but you are all part of the one light. You are all part of the one divinity. It is just one different reflection of it. So it makes no difference how you express, what color you're vibrating as. Really what you are is that fascinating facet of the divine. And here's what's amazing about it too. Because when you reverse the prism, when it goes back, white light, the wholeness of light is incomplete if you leave your part out. Right? If purple does not come back into the spectrum, the white light isn't there. It's incomplete. And if pink doesn't fully participate, there's not the wholeness of the light. Each and every one of you can radiate any one of those colors on any different day. I know I can, and I know you can. What is it that you're being called to be today? In this part of your life, in this stage of your life? Are you called to be the grandmother, the parent, the child, the way shower, the divine Christ, the peace that passes all understanding? Are you called to be Moses and stand up in front of the Pharaoh and say, you will not hold me back anymore? You can pass any laws you want. You can bring out any chariots you want. You can chase me to the ends of the earth. But I will not be squelched. I will not be put into a box. And I will not be held down anymore by the thoughts in my own head or the thoughts on the outside. I will lift myself higher, and I will celebrate this day. You know, I don't have to tell any of you. I know a lot of you grew up here. San Francisco's your home. You were on the front lines here in the 70s and the 80s as we watched so many things happen, so much pain, so much heartache. One of the ironies of watching the news accounts for the last week have been, oh my God, the amazing speed at which gay rights have just taken over the planet. Oh yeah? Oh yeah. This day is bittersweet in so many ways because so many of us didn't make it to be here to celebrate. So many of us didn't find that kind of acceptance because they moved on to a different plane. But their journey helped us get here. And I know that sounds strange, but I was reading about it this week too, and remembering when people were being excluded from the bedsides of their lovers, that families would take people in and keep their lifetime partner from making medical decisions, not allow them to attend the funerals, not allow them to be at the bedside as their partner left this earthly plane. And that pain and that injustice and that wrong served us all as a wake-up call that this is way too precious, this thing we call life, way too precious to take it for granted. That we need to celebrate it in every moment, in every way. And as I watched on Friday morning, JD and I sat on the couch and cried, for the day had finally arrived. And then I watched as we buried some amazing people from Charleston. And I cried again as I remember that this struggle to say I am what I am and who I am has value is not over. One court ruling, one victory, one earthly event, material event, does not make it over. We must stand in that consciousness of wholeness and of love every moment of every day. We must stand in the consciousness of love and extend love at every opportunity. I am humbled by the families of the Charleston massacre. They stood in front of their killer, of their loved one, and they forgave him. Forgave him to his face, with tears rolling down their cheeks. That is what we are all called to do and be. That holy divine and that holy, holy human. To stand there in the midst of our pain and sorrow and have compassion for another and see them as truly divine. So while I encourage each and every one of us to celebrate here today, to celebrate the truth that this day is well earned, to celebrate the truth that pride is something we need to have, all of us, in our true nature, our divine nature, our whole nature. But also to stand there and extend love to everyone who disagrees with us. Extend love to those who curse us and try to limit our good. Because in truth, they cannot. Because in truth, we are all whole. We are all the same. We are all part of that light. And if we call orange bad, wrong, if we call conservatives and Republicans and fundamentalists bad, we are diminishing our own experience of the light. We must love, because love always wins. Always wins. That is what this meaning of celebrate pride is today. Yes, we deserve to dance in the streets. And yes, we deserve to give love more fully, completely, and abundantly than we ever have before. If we cannot do it now, what hope for us is that when we need it the most? Give love. Share love. Celebrate pride by being the love you wish to receive. I invite Sydney to come forward, and I invite all of us to get comfortable in our seats. I have a special slideshow, and Sydney's going to sing a special song for us as we take this idea of love and of pride to our time of meditation. let the words just wash over us. Words. Words cannot define who we are. Words cannot define what the divine is. Words cannot limit the potential unless we let them. So we open ourselves to this moment, into this vibration, knowing that the only words that matter are the ones we tell ourselves. Take a moment to look at the words in your head, the words you speak to yourself. Take a moment to know the truth. Ask, who am I? Ask, who is it that is sending me to this moment, this place, this time? Right here, right now, in the silence, know the truth of who and what you are. Beautiful. I am beautiful. Say it with me. I am beautiful. 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 Make it your mantra. Make it your prayer. Make it your truth. I am beautiful in every single way. I am the perfect expression of life itself. I am magnificent.